presented to us a contract for the sports complexes, and we have it. It was given to us. And I'm going to move that that be added back to the agenda like it's supposed to be, and that we approve the contract with the change of taking off Michael Cox and added league president.
I second that motion, Madam Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add that to the business items.
Okay, I'm at it. District 1, Lee?
Yes.
District 2, Clay?
Yes.
District 3, Martin?
Yes.
District 4, Reed?
Yes.
District 5, Epps?
Yes.
District 6, Corbett?
Yes.
Okay, so item has been re-added.
What'd she say?
It's been added back.
Why not just do that now, and then we'll get to Fort Benning, okay?
Do what now?
Just add what you
We
reminded us that it should be on the agenda.
Well, my motion was to go ahead and approve the contract with the name change from Michael Cox to league president, and that would automatically add it, because it can't, I mean, it's still there. It can't be, I mean, it can't be taken off once the commission approves it without a vote of the commission.
Okay, well, I was saying, let's address it now.
That's what I thought we did.
Okay.
The person in charge or whatever. And then the commission contract.
I did, Paula, and they
Okay.
approved it.
Okay. Okay. Fort Benning and advertisement approval, Mr. Curry.
That was Mr. King, and he is not here. He made a presentation on Monday night, and he left the door for us to consider it and contact him
Okay.
if we want to do it.
All right, wait a minute, we were given, I guess this is a reconstructed ad, which
Yeah, we asked about it.
which
Yeah.
this,
Some of the stuff.
which this looks a lot better, and this is a good method of promoting Russell County. I hate he's not here, but this, I guess this would be on the back page of the magazine, and would it be the same on the inside?
Same on the inside and color.
They're different.
Okay, I got you, yeah. All right, I'll make a motion, we approve it, if provided the money's available. Because, I mean, it's got to be done today, or it don't get done.
So we do have
I'll
a second.
that. I'll second.
You second. Okay, Poll Commission.
I got discussion. I'm good with this because I think it needs to be done, but I want more detail and more information on these advertisements. Every one of these facilities have Facebook pages, websites. There's nothing. I mean, you're just looking at them and then you turn the page and you're done. I think you ought to have a way to push them towards these sites, push them to get more information. Right now, you just, I mean, I guess you could go do an internet search to each one of these and
They
figure
go
it
to
out, but,
phone
and,
app.
you know, I want it to be better than our website. Our website needs some work. I want it to go to their Facebook pages, their social media sites, so that the stuff that on there is actually current about those facilities.
All right, can I, go ahead.
It goes to their phone apps also, and
Yeah.
every person that checks in at Fort Benning, what he said Monday, gets one of these, and it's automatically put on their phone.
Yeah, I get that, but when you look at like this one here with a picture of the courthouse on the bottom left, all it says is seal, 91 Longview Street.
Can I make a-
Established 1868. We just need to tweak this. a little bit.
Chance, you know, I'm not much on this social media stuff, but couldn't, instead of just making, because if you add all that into every one of these, it's gonna get wordy again.
You can put a little Facebook symbol.
Can't we
next to
just,
each one
I
of
know,
them.
but
They
I
can't do
mean,
that, Commissioner. I'm afraid that every time I have created an ad for anyone that has a Facebook symbol on it, they have to take it off.
well, let me just ask what I'm suggesting, Mick, and I don't know, but over here on the right side where you've got the all roads lead to Russell County, all that stuff, couldn't you just put the county's website, and then on the county website,
It's on there.
and have a link on the county website to each one of these?
Yes, and we do.
And wouldn't that take care of it, Commissioner Corbett?
My opinion, no, but. we
Well,
can
I
do
know,
what we
but
wanna
y'all,
do.
I mean,
I think it needs a lot of work, but that's okay.
The county website is on the ad, and yes, on the county website is a link to every one of those events and every one of those places.
I mean, if somebody,
With the exception of the archery tournament, which is Fort Benning, and I haven't found anything but a commercial link for that.
The chair recognizes Wanda Lambert.
Ms. Martin, Commissioner Martin, on this Fort Benning area guide, almost 3 years ago, we at Fireworks Outlet bought an ad with them. Well, last year, they called me for another ad, and I told them I had to get it okay through my boss. Well, guess what? They forged my name on a contract. And, oh yes, my name was forged on a contract. They sent me a bill for $1,000. I called the company and I said, I did not sign a contract. They said, yes ma'am, you did. I said, send me a copy of it. So they did. They emailed me a copy of it. I called them back and I said, look at my signature on this contract and compare it to the year before. They did. I haven't heard a word from them since then.
Well, I don't approve of that type of practices, but in this particular case, this is still a good way to promote Russell County. At least they're coming to us and asking, they're not just doing it and sending us a bill for it. So I'm still think we should do it, but like I said, this will be the last time this comes before this board. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll have tourism in place and they can handle all that without even coming to us. So I still think it's a good idea right now, because it's a good way to promote Russell County, when I don't know how many soldiers come through Fort Benning, but it's probably 250,000 in a year, because there's a lot of them.
I'm told there's 70,000 folks on base, and
Well, but I'm
every
talking about-
family gets a guide.
But those are permanent people. I'm talking about the people that come in every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch
And
of them.
everyone that comes in gets a guide.
So, call for the question.
Yeah.
Now, remember, my motion was provided funds are available. This is late in the budget year. I mean, we only got less than a week left, so hopefully there's some money in the contingency fund.
That's what I was going to say, Commissioner, if you would amend your motion to allow it to be paid, it'd be $4,160 from the contingency.
Yes,
fund.
true, that's correct.
Okay, you pull it.
Sure, if you'd like to. District 1, Lee.
Yes.
District 2, Currington.
Yes.
District 3, Martin.
Yes.
District 4, Reed.
Yes.
District 5, Elk.
Yes.
District 6, Corbett.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
And thank
With
you,
the
Ms.
correction.
Lambert, for your comment. We'll be on the alert. Wiregrass appointments.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Leroy Davis, he's not here though, but he indicated he would like to serve on that board. And I'd like to, make a motion at this time, we'll appoint Leroy Davis to the Wiregrass Board. See, sometimes you had to drive maybe about 100, 125, 130 miles, wherever they having the meeting. So of course, he don't have a problem with the mileage or whatever, you know, because most of the time when you drive, you gotta, use your own car and all that kind of stuff. So, he indicated he would like to serve, so I would like to try to put him.
I just need a little bit of clarification. This is replacing,
Johnny Robinson.
okay, I mean, need to state that, because we do have 2 members.
Okay.
For the remainder of the term.
Pull the commission.
District 1, Lee.
Yes.
District 2, Currington.
Yes.
District 3, Martin.
Yes.
District 4, Reed.
Yes.
District 5, Elk.
Yes.
District 6, Corbett.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. Next is our chief engineer, Sean Blakeney,
Madam-
on the dirt road policy
Madam
approval,
Chair.
as well as driveway permit approval.
Madam Chairman, Ms. Hale.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
I'm sorry. On that same Wiregrass appointment, as you can see, both of the, I serve also on that. It also expires this year. My 10-year service also expires this year, in October, I think it is. I feel that we should have a commissioner to represent us on that Wiregrass program, because when you don't have representation on it, then a lot of time we can get left out of the loop. Now, if another commissioner would like to serve, I would be glad to, not serve again. But if not, then I will continue to serve. The only problem that I have with that they have their meetings the same, well, they have it quarterly, and it's always on our commissioner day. So when I'm not here, if I go there, I'm representing the county, but as a commissioner, I'm being, counted as absent from the work.
While you're speaking, could you speak to what the purpose is for Wiregrass?
Wiregrass is really where you can get funding, grant money from. For an example, I think Commissioner Corbett got some grant money from the Wiregrass for his project out at Crawford. Am I correct on that?
On the first phase,
On
and
the
I
first
just
phase.
got the letter Friday, Monday of the next phase as well. Yep.
I've been called and say that I did receive the grant for the project that I've have at Fort Mitchell for the playground. I have not received it in writing yet, but I did get a call that it had been approved. So we can get a lot of, I'm going to say, small things done in our community through the Wiregrass program that possibly we wouldn't be able to get through some other grant programs.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
to kind of expand on Ms. Epps's point about us having someone, I don't disagree completely that it's better to have someone that can come back and report, but I'm gonna be honest, we've got some good folks that serve on that board. Every time they have a meeting, I get a report, somebody, and sometimes it's more than one. People call and say, hey, this is what happened. I've been to the meetings with the director and the new director they have, and sat through their mission, their scope, what they do, and that's how we even know about applying for these. We were fortunate to get a grant to help with the playground at Crawford Park, and this last one I put in money to help with the walking trail, phase 2, and like I said, Monday, it was either Friday or Monday, I actually received a letter saying it was not only approved, they gave me more than I asked for, so, because they really liked the project. So I think that if Ms. Epps wants to do it, I'm not gonna oppose that. If she wants to let somebody else do it because of the conflict with the meeting, I would implore the commission just to bring somebody back to appoint to it that is dedicated to go to the, not that you're not, you've got a conflict, that are dedicated to be at the meetings, because I think it is important that the commissioners be at the commission meeting, but it's also important that they be at every one of those meetings. They don't meet that much, if that makes sense. I mean, it's up to
Do they
you,
meet maybe quarterly or?
They meet quarterly.
Quarterly.
Madam Chairman, I also would like to address, see, they get federal funds. And they distribute this money all over in that district, in the area.
Oh, I don't, whatever is that the commissioners, whatever, what you want to do on that?
I was listening to you, it sounds like you have a conflict in, as far as meeting dates. I would like to just table the second appointment until next time, and we bring it back, and if Ms. Epps wants to do it, then I'm fine with that. But if we can find someone in the community that will be dedicated to go and communicate back to this commission, I would like to go that route.
I do feel that Mr. Davis would come back to commissioner and make a report because his interest in the county itself. I think he is a very good choice for that.
You know, we could also appoint a county employee to do that. You know, if they could get paid their regular
I
pay.
see our map appraiser, I think he'd be a good choice looking at it. Because he like to talk about grant money.
I mean, we have a lot of very fine county employees that would fit right in with that.
While you're thinking about it, the service to the 10 counties focuses on land conservation and management, water management, community development, and innovation. The objective is to meet needs within the community through service, leadership, and building relationships. That tells you what it is. They like projects that deal with outdoors and the land and our natural resources, so.
Also, they like to deal with school. I served on that for a little while. You know, school project, they help the school as well.
And we're not talking about millions of dollars now.
It's
Just-
small amount,
Just these are small grants,
There you
but
go.
they're big grants for people who get them, because it's sometimes the only funds they get.
The motion is on the floor to table to the next
Yes.
meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Will you poll the commission?
District 1, Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 L.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
It's unanimous vote.
I apologize, I got
That's
you.
okay. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. No telling, every time I get up here, it takes a while, even if it involves me or not. But, I presented y'all back in August a copy of updated policy on our dirt road improvement policy and driveway permit, and I'll go over if y'all got any questions on the dirt road improvement policy. I know I had to leave Wednesday, or Monday, and Mr. Martin took over for me. I appreciate that, but, if there are any questions y'all need to ask me, it's just updating our existing policy to kind of give us an idea on some of the right-of-way issues we're having, and if, the last statement says if we can't require the right-of-way, and I feel we can't get the 18-foot with the existing shoulders, with the existing right-of-way we have, I could come back before y'all, and y'all, if y'all want to do it as is or whatever, it'd be up to y'all's discretion if y'all vote on us to do it that way. We just need some kind of uniform policy on paving these dirt roads, because right now it's kind of each road for its own. So, anybody have any questions on this?
Madam Chair, I'm gonna make a motion to be approved, and then I do have some questions after.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, my statement is, we have just about paved all of the easy roads in Russell County. I mean, they're just about all paved. Now we're getting down to where we don't have right-of-way, and if you go in and start having to purchase right-of-way, then you're gonna almost eliminate our dirt road program. So, I can understand why an engineer with a professional license would want, he wouldn't want to take the responsibility on designing a road that he knows doesn't meet the qualifications, and so that responsibility then is transferred to us. And it's done all over the state. It's not like it's not done. I mean, there's a lot of counties that authorize roads to be paved that are 20 feet wide, no right-of-way. So, so that's why I think this is a good policy, and it'll be left up to the commission. If we don't want to do it, we don't do it. But the engineer is not going to go out there and put his signature on approving a road that he knows doesn't meet the requirements.
Well, this policy would be when a road's presented to me to be paved, I would go out and do the preliminary engineering, try to pull deeds, see what right-of-way we had. And if I couldn't get it, and I know because like I said in the budget meetings, a lot of the roads we're in now are mom and pop trails that was cut through the woods that are 12, 13 foot wide. When utilities were put down these roads, they was just put right on the edge of the roads. I know there's a lot of difficulties on them. All the water lines, power lines, gas lines, everything, if there's any down there, is running right down the middle of the road. So every road we pave, within a matter of a year, we have a water break on it. They come in and cut the road up. So this would be me coming back to y'all and saying we can't do it to our standards, and then if y'all vote on our department to do it, we would do it then.
I would like to ask, I'm sorry, I would like to ask the question, I realize that we're in a situation now where we are trying to upkeep and what we call, the wagon road trails, where someone built a house and they just, made themselves a road. If that happened, if we go out and we do not have the right of way, or there's not enough property even there to get a right of way, is it any way within your policy that the persons that live on that road will sign an agreement that they agree to having this road paved without any lawsuits later or whatever? Is anything in your policy can cover that?
Well, it's not the people that lives on the road. I believe wholeheartedly if there's a road with 6 houses on it and we pave it as is, that the people that live on the road is going to treat the road right. But it's the teenager or the person out joyriding one night that sees a paved road that's less than 18 foot wide, and somebody coming from the other way and they're going 50 miles an hour and hit head on because we're giving them the perception that there's multiple lanes on a road that's not. That's why we have in the existing policy, we have our local use, anything less than a half a mile or less, one way in, one way out, we can do 12 foot wide, because you're either supposed to do it 12 foot wide that shows you the perception as a one-way lane, sign the road properly, or it's 18 foot with 2 foot shoulders. Because you can't give a perception that there's less than 2 or more than one lane out there, and somebody gets hurt or killed, then that would be on me and my license.
Okay, the other thing, I have gone on those travel, we call the back road,
Yeah.
okay? And they will have a sign. Some counties put up a sign and say narrow road, no passing, narrow road. Would that also help within that policy? I'm just trying to find a way to maybe help.
Well, by FHWA standards, 18-foot roadway, 9-foot lanes is a narrow road. And that's what we meet, that's why we got our minimum requirements at 18 foot. I know most of your thoroughways are 10, 12-foot lanes. So 9-foot lanes is a narrow road by FHWA standards. So anything on about 2 cars cannot pass on a 15-foot wide road. Most of our existing dirt roads are between 13 and 15 foot wide.
Okay, I'm just trying to find a way to help you and help the county not be sued and also help the residents
Well, I
that lived on these roads.
have called Meadowbrooks, Webb and Ely, and trying to get some legal advice from them on what we can do as far as if the commission wants to pave a road less than standards, what signage we can do, the legality there and everything. And he's supposed to be getting back in touch with me next week on that. So I know a lot of counties has done it. Lee County's done it, Tallapoosa County's done it all around the lake areas. They pave roads 12, 13, 14 foot wide.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay. We ready to vote?
Now, what was she is,
All right. That's Ms. Edgerton Lawrence. You have a comment about it?
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to comment. You have information from me already. I don't even understand the policy of dirt road paving because the dirt roads that were paved out there in my community did not conform to your policy at all.
They're 12 foot wide. They're one-way roads,
Well-
less than half a mile in and out.
The street I live on connects county roads to county road. Those were like dead end, most of them. And that road, Samuel Road, was in line to be paved even before you were an engineer. And every time it gets left out. So I want this commission to take in consideration to have Samuel Road paved instead of some of these trails like you're talking about. I know where you pave because those are just basic little trails that people have to homes, and it's almost like they're private. So
Well,
I
can
didn't
say-
understand
I
the
can say
policy
to
at
you
all.
that He didn't do that on his own. In fact, there was a
Did
pretty
you
good
all do it?
argument last year about not doing that road that you're talking about, and the commissioner in that district wanted to do it.
Not to do Samuel Road?
Not
Not
Samuel
to-
Road,
Paved
the other
one with
road.
the one house on it.
Oh, right, that one, but these had little housing and a little group, and they paved those roads. I don't think the people there knew those roads was gonna be paved. They said they knew nothing about it. They did not request it to be paved. So I don't know who gave permission for it to be paved when the citizen really didn't want it paved per se. But there was a need for our road to be paved, and it was left out. So I want the policy commission to take it up, to look at our road to get it paved in this appropriation year. And I would appreciate it very much. We still pay taxes. Thank
You
you.
get it paved, you'll pay more taxes. Because if it's paved, you'll pay more taxes. We have a motion and a second. We kind of got away from the subject.
Oh, no.
Sure, call the question.
Okay, District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington?
Yes.
District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 F?
yes,
District 6 Corbett?
Yes.
And let me just state, when we hear from the insurance carriers, you know, if they say we just absolutely can't do this, then this is not obligating the engineer to do it. He don't have to do it. It still has to come to us. So we just turn it down and take it off and not ever do it again if the insurance says we can't do it.
Well, the insurance company's not gonna say we can't do this. They're gonna say, he's asking them about future if we decide to go with a smaller road.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
kind of
talking about.
signs we can put on there,
Right.
so, yeah.
that was his
All right.
question.
Next on is our driveway policy. The last time our driveway policy was updated was like 01, 02. It was, the citizen comes in our office, gets a permit. If they want us, the citizen's required to purchase the pipe, and if they want the county to install it, it's $200 for us to install a driveway. And I know that, right now, that don't even pay for the material we put on the driveway. I know Monday night I talked about raising it to $400, but after talking to Lee County, I think Lee County said theirs was updated in 2001 or 2, and theirs is at $250 right now. I would like to up that from $200 to $300, and maybe in the future time, come back and up it some more, but $300 would at least cover the material that we put on the road. We put up to 3 loads of material and some crush and run on most driveways. So I'm just trying to cover the material costs for installing a driveway.
Motion to approve.
Second. Yeah, I'm a lot more in favor, you know, I hate, it may have been 50 years since we raised it, but I hate doubling costs, I mean, to the public anytime, so this is better. I would have voted for the 400, but 300 is better.
Yeah, that's what I see in your contract, 400.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
I'm
changing
asking to
that.
change it to 300.
300, okay.
District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington?
Yes.
District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 L?
Yes.
District 6 Corbin?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for your good work, Sean. Next is S&W contracts, and I had to ask the administrator what that's computer maintenance and all. So the three of you, if you, or you want one to speak?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
This comes up every year, and
let's
there's no
approve
need
it.
for any one of them to come up here and ask us to approve this. We're going to approve it. If we didn't approve it, it would close down our money collection in the county. So I'm gonna move that it be approved.
And I second, Madam Chairman, I second the motion.
Okay. Have a
This-
motion, a second.
District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington? I'm sorry, I almost got you Corbin. District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 L?
Yes.
District 6 Corbin?
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous vote.
Now we come back to the 6 Irving Road, Drive, rather, public hearing land abatement. Mr. Leeds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, good morning, Commissioners. Ms. Horn.
Hello.
On the 13th of September of this year, the Commission by resolution declared the condition of the property located at 6 Irwin Drive to be a public nuisance. A public hearing was held this morning, and at this time, we come before you requesting that the County Commission by resolution declare the property a public nuisance and order the abatement of the nuisance by the removal of said nuisance. Having said that, we are in agreement, myself and Mr. Friend, of giving Ms. Dorothy Hurst an additional 30 days to have everything, including vehicles and building, removed from this parcel. On the 31st day, if it is not done, then a contractor will proceed with the cleanup, and a lien will be posted against the property. And once this lien is posted, it must be paid in full prior to being able to pay the property tax for this parcel. And we do have 2 estimates for cleanup for that parcel.
Mr. Leeds, I have a question before I make a motion. You said removal, so you're not giving the option of repairing it to make it a non-nuisance?
No, we are not, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm not making the motion then.
Mr. Lee, excuse me, is there any way possible you can give that lady the opportunity to fix up or
He
something? do
said
something?
that 30 days.
I mean, the problem we heard this morning was of somebody who's acting like they didn't have, you know, good sense. Not necessarily that, we didn't hear much about the problem of the building.
There is, we can, in reference to your question, if that building would come up to code, i.e. to where there is, right now, what they have going right there that Mr. Snow has going, he has extension cord among extension cords hooked in, or did have hooked in, until the power was cut off for electricity. If that metal building could be come up to code, then I don't think myself or Mr. Friend have any problem with that staying there. However, having said that problem, until, and you all have heard it and we're repeating again, until the problem with Mr. Snow is taken care of, this is going to be an ongoing problem with the residents in and around 6 Irwin Drive.
What if the building met code of a storage building or a shed? I mean, not for somebody to live in. I mean,
That would be fine.
I mean, if somebody lived in it, then that property owner is subject to violating the law for letting somebody live in it.
Yes.
Ever who owns the property. And if it's 6 of them on it, then 6 of them would be responsible.
Right now, the only one that we have in addressing that you just said, sir, is Miss Dorothy Hurst. Everything is forwarded to her, and not the other family members.
Mr. Franklin has brought the pictures up.
Yeah, we know it's a mess. I remember the pictures, and it does need cleaning up. There's no question it needs cleaning up. The question is tearing down a building that could possibly be nothing wrong with it for use as a storage shed or whatever.
Yes, sir.
I don't think, I don't think the nuisance law gives us the authority to tear down a building because somebody's living in it, and they're
Yes, sir.
not supposed to. I mean, that's my question. I know it puts a lot of pressure on our attorney who's just sitting in when our other attorney has, covered this hundreds and hundreds of times for a lot dealing.
I think you're correct on that one. I mean, what you have here is an individual with some mental issues and some substance abuse issues that is creating a public nuisance. But the building itself is not a dwelling, it's not built to be lived in. There's no
correct.
bathroom, there's no running water to the building, and I don't think you could tear the building down if it qualifies as a storage building. I know you'd like to eliminate the problem with him living there, but I don't think you can do it by demolishing the building.
And that's my concern is our nuisance law is not very wide. It's kind of narrow to give us the authority to do certain things, and most of the time it deals with buildings that are supposed to be used for inhabitants, and they're not. They've got trees growing in, the windows knocked out, and then we tear them down. But this wasn't even built for anybody to live in. It was just, I understand, it's built as a shed that you could store a boat or a car or anything in. So that's our dilemma. And I want to do what y'all recommend, but I don't want to put us in a legal bind by doing something we don't have the authority to do.
Madam Chairman, essentially, in fact, he got a point. We might have to go through legislature to get the law changed, but right now, we got our hand tied concerning that.
I mean, I don't have any problem if the building's falling down and the building itself is a danger. So if a child was to go in there, nobody living there, and they could be injured by the building falling down on them, then that's a nuisance. But we need to give the property owner time, 30 days, to correct the problems with the building, not to bring it up to code so somebody can live in there, because they can't do that.
Right.
You cannot bring it up to code without tearing it down and building a house. But I don't have any problem giving them 30 days if it's been declared, you said it's been condemned. Well, they had to have some reason to condemn it. And if the structure is not sound, then they need to have the opportunity to correct it before we tear it down.
Madam Chair, first I need to ask, is the motion on the floor?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, he asked, was there any questions to him before
Okay.
we talked about it?
I move that we accept Mr. Lee's recommendation of giving the landowners 30 days to improve and take care of the business that we have requested to be taken care of, and then we'll go from there.
Madam Chair, I got to correct, that wasn't what Mr. Leeds asked, because I specifically asked him, and he said they were asking that it be demolished in 30, it be demolished by the owner, or we would demolish it. I'm saying that we need to allow them to, if the building's unsafe for just being a building, allow them to repair it, and then after 30 days, if it's not repaired, then we can demolish it.
Well, Mr. Lee, for my clarification, repeat what you said there about the 30 days, because I didn't hear it the way Commissioner Lee did.
On the 13th of September, as I said, this commission, by resolution, declared the condition of the property located at 6 Irwin Drive to be a public nuisance. And again, the public hearing was held this morning. And that at this time, I was requesting from the county commission, by resolution, declare the property a public nuisance and order the abatement of the nuisance by the removal of the nuisance. Having said that, I also further stated that we would give Ms. Dorothy Hurst an additional 30 days to have everything, including vehicles and building, removed from the parcel.
That's what I knew, and you're saying to have the
That's what I-
building
That's
removed.
what I heard. You requested that we give an additional 30 days to have the building, is that? That's what I heard.
removed
Remove.
by the property owner. They're not gonna remove the building. I mean, if that's, I mean, I know they're not gonna do that, so we might as well go ahead and approve that we do it.
So you don't have a second, so this is gonna die, I
Right, this
guess.
is gonna die, but
So I wanna make one comment. We've heard from both sides, and I feel for the gentleman that sat up here and spoke. I've lived by people before that I felt was bringing my property values down and were really a nuisance to, the area I was living in. I've felt that before. I think this guy needs help, for sure, needs mental help. I'd like to give the chief a little time to look into this. I'd like to give the probate judge time to see what else we can do with this. Because it's not really about the property, it's about the gentleman. I mean, that's exactly what the issue has been. I think the lady that came up here and spoke earlier would love for him not to be living in the building and turn it into a storage building. So if that's their desire, then let's fix the human issue, the human factor in it, and then they could turn it back to a storage building, and then we're not taking their structure down.
But still, all that mess around it, they need to clean that up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the old junk cars and trash and piled up and all that
So
stuff.
I'm not against, y'all done great work, Gary, and you're doing exactly what we've asked you to do, is to
Bring it to us.
you and Bill, to address concerns of our citizens in the county. So I think you've done a great job for that, and you're bringing back what you think is right to do. I'm sitting up here as an elected official saying, I got a guy that needs mental help, and I can't see, when we do this, he's gonna be living in the trees or in the grass or something, and I think we need to step back, try to let the chief do what he could do through the court system and the probate judge, and maybe ask y'all just to bring this back to us, maybe in a couple of meetings, and we'll see if we can move forward then. If nothing's been done, the guy's still living in it, at some point, we do need to take some action to, if we can't help him, we're gonna have to help the situation, I think, so, that's my take on it.
Hey, Gary, excuse me, the gentleman, that you still wanna give him 30 days, I think that's what we.
Well,
we
I mean,
decide.
he suggested 30 days. The only thing I would change, and I think, has there been a motion?
No,
This is a dead issue.
it
Move on.
died because of
if you
lack
make
of
the motion, I
assessment and
second.
discussion.
Well, I mean, my motion then would be to allow the landowners 30 days to clean up the mess, not tear down the building.
And that's what I
And
said.
if the person involved has not been dealt with by then, I mean, he's not our responsibility. I wished he was, but it sounds like they're trying to do something about it, but I don't know what you do when you can't catch the guy. I mean, if you can't catch him, he must not be there causing a whole lot of trouble. 'Cause-
If they can't catch him, the chief ain't been out there yet.
well,
Right, Chief?
I mean, I know that we catch escaped prisoners in 20 minutes after they hit the woods, so why we can't find a mentally disturbed person who...
So I second that motion, Madam
Okay.
Chairman.
What motion was it? That's a
The
lot.
motion is to give them 30 days to correct the problem and then bring it back to us. Not necessarily to tear the building down yet. May end up having to do that. And so y'all's responsibility is to investigate these problems, bring us the facts, give you recommendations, bring it to us, and then we make the decision. So we're not going against what you recommend. In fact, I commend y'all for what you do. But it's up to us and our attorney to decide if we can legally do something. And so right now, it's a little bit in limbo whether we can tear that building down.
yes, sir.
Madam Chair, just one point of discussion, I'm gonna be quiet on this too. That's why we have public hearings. It's
Yeah.
exactly what happened today.
Yeah, we
heard
very
from both
seldom-
sides, and we never have that, right? And we actually heard from both sides, and we see there's an underlying issue that maybe can be addressed, and let's see if we can get that addressed first.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Hurst, I'll recognize Ms. Hurst.
Yes, I would like the 30 days, but the only problem that I have is if they can get him and get him locked up, I can do something. But if within 30 days, if they can't get him, there's nothing I can do.
Well, what's keeping you from doing it?
Big pardon?
I mean, why can't you do something?
Okay.
I mean,
can't deal with Judge.
oh, no, but if you go out there to do something, undoubtedly he's there, all right, so you just bring the sheriff or somebody with you, and if he's there, then they caught him.
That's fine, I've been out there, but the thing about it is, when I go, I don't always find him either. And they had him one time, and Judge Harton had to sign the
Well, it looks like he,
order, so I don't know.
I know we're getting way out of bounds here on our rec, because, I mean, the public hearing is over, and we've already heard both sides, and like we said, we've heard, and we understand. We understand it's a problem.
Something when he's not there
But so we need to get
Can tell you I had it cleaned up.
we need to get the law enforcement or DHR or somebody involved quickly and take care of this man and his problems and get him some help. I mean, I know we've got, sounds like he's a prime case for, treatment.
We're in the discussion that we voted.
He's schizoaffective bipolar type, and without his medication, he's not a normal
Okay.
person. And he needs to be locked up. He needs to get locked up and get the drugs out of him and get him to rehab, and then I can clean the land up again.
All right.
And I had it before, I don't mind doing it.
Thank you, Ms.
Call the
Hurst.
question.
We need to call the question.
Call the question, Madam Chair.
Thank you for speaking.
District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington?
Yes.
District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 Elk?
No, I know, but we can.
District 6 Corbin?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. And Madam Administrator, any,
Yes, Madam
Right.
Chair. This is the public announcement that the courthouse will be closed on October 9th for Columbus and American Indian Heritage Day. That also falls on a work session day, so we will just go into the regular meeting on that following Wednesday.
okay. And Mr. Lane, is there any, we have done here the lodging legislation, brother.
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Funderburk and I think the administrator had been in consultation. As you know, the hotel motel lodging tax beginning October 1 comes to the county commission instead of to the committee of the Chamber of Commerce. There was some question as to whether or not there might be some accountability to any remaining funds, and I think most everybody probably agrees there will be no remaining funds. But it might be interesting, or if the commission were interested, in trying to write to them, communicate with them, and see if they had any outstanding contracts, where they were spending the money, whether they thought it worked or not, so that we might not go down the same path. But that would be up to the commission on there just to learn. I mean, especially if they've got a contract with somebody that continues for 6 months, it's kind of foolish for the county to go pay them a duplicate amount for that same period of time. But, I mean, again, they can say, no, we don't have any legal authority to request that.
Okay, thank you. Your personnel items report, Ms. Robinson has had those placed in our packet. Are there any announcements? I hope you all voted yesterday.
Before we adjourn, I'm asking Miss Leanne and Vicky, hold around a minute. I got to meet you with something in here with
I do have
somebody.
one announcement.
I'm not getting on to you. I just need both of you, and it's easier to catch you here than it is somewhere else.
Madam Chair, I'm in receipt of a letter from the National Association of Counties confirming the nomination of Commissioner Epps to the Human Services and Education Policy Steering Committee. I just want to congratulate her on that and, say that she is representing our county well in that seat, so.
I don't see how she has time to go to all those meetings. I know she still cooks.
It is a commitment. And I do cook.
I know
I
you
do
do.
cook.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.